Why does the loudest man in the room always seem to get the least respect? Why does the man who never raises his voice somehow make every person in that room feel watched? Why do some men spend years working harder than everyone around them, grinding, sacrificing, doing everything right, and still get passed over, talked over, and underestimated? Over and over again. Here's the truth. Most men have been taught to perform strength, to show it, to announce it, to dress it up and put it on display. They were never told the other thing. The thing that actually earns fear and respect. The thing that operates in silence. And centuries ago, Niccolo Machiavelli explained exactly what separates a man people simply know from a man people quietly, instinctively never want to cross. Most people never see this distinction, and that invisibility is exactly what makes it so powerful. What I'm going to walk you through in this video, most men discover too late. Some never discover it at all. And by the way, stay with me to the end, because habit number 7 is the one that changes everything. And I mean everything. Most people skip right past it. Most people pay for that mistake. Most men believe leadership is built through performance. Be the best, work the hardest, speak the most confidently. Show people what you're capable of. That's what they teach you. That's what society rewards, at first. But here's what most people don't realize. Real, lasting power. The kind that makes men watch you when you walk into a room. The kind that makes them speak carefully around you. It was never built through performance. It was built through psychology. Machiavelli observed something that his contemporaries refused to say out loud. He wrote that men will always judge you by appearances rather than reality, that the crowd only sees what you show them. But the truly powerful man controls what is shown. In other words, weak men react. They explain. They try to prove. Feared men never prove anything. They don't have to. Consider what happens when a man walks into a room with that quality. He doesn't say much. He doesn't move urgently. But something about his presence makes the energy in that room shift. People notice him without understanding why. They adjust their behavior around him without being asked. That is not charisma. That is not talent. That is trained psychology in motion. And once you see how it works, you will start recognizing it everywhere. Habit 1. Emotional unresponsiveness. The first habit. And it is the foundation everything else rests on. Emotional unresponsiveness. Not coldness, not arrogance, not the dead-eyed, blank look of a man who has simply shut himself down. Something far more controlled than that. Here's what most people don't realize. Every time you visibly react to what someone does to you, every flinch, every flicker of irritation, every moment where your face shows them they got through, you hand them a map of your interior, a map of where to press, what to avoid, and how much they can get away with. Weak men give this map away constantly, without knowing it. Their face changes when they're frustrated. Their voice tightens when they feel disrespected. Their eyes drop when they're being challenged. Small signals, but powerful ones. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journals that you have power over your mind, not outside events. His entire reign, one of the longest and most stable in Roman history, was built on this one discipline. The man was dealing with war, plague, betrayal, and political collapse. And he trained his face to show none of it. The feared man does the same thing. He processes internally. He responds when he chooses to respond. Not because something provoked him. If you've been through this, you know the feeling. The moment someone pushes you and you react too fast, too visibly, and then you watch them use it. They file it away. They bring it back later, precisely when it hurts most. Emotional unresponsiveness is not suppression, it's discipline. It's the difference between a man who owns his reactions and a man his reactions own. Habit 2. Strategic silence. Consider what happens when a man simply stops explaining himself. At first, people around him get uncomfortable. They push. They ask. They try to fill the silence for him. And here is the thing. That discomfort is information. It tells him exactly how much weight his silence carries in that room. The man who explains everything reveals everything. His doubts, his need for approval, his hunger to be understood. Weak men talk when they're nervous. They fill silence because silence feels like exposure. The feared man understands that silence is not absence. It is pressure. Robert Greene wrote in his study of power that the more you say, the more common you appear. And the more common you appear, the easier it is to dismiss you. But a man who speaks rarely, who chooses his words like he chooses his battles, every word he does say carries a different weight entirely. They won't admit it. But when you stop over-explaining, people start filling in the blanks themselves. And what they imagine is almost always more formidable than anything you would have said. If a man challenges you and you respond with silence, not defensive silence, not angry silence, but calm, grounded silence, he has no wall to push against. His own aggression folds back on him. That is not weakness. That is strategy. Habit 3. Removing the need for approval. Have you ever noticed that you change how you speak depending on who's in the room? That you hold back certain opinions around certain people? That you soften your tone when you sense disapproval coming? That you watch people's faces while you talk, looking for some small signal that they're with you? Think about that for a second. That behavior, that constant low-level scanning for approval, is invisible to you now because it's been running so long it feels normal. But other people see it, and some of them use it. The need for approval is the oldest lever in the book. Once someone knows you need them to like you, they own you. Not completely, not obviously, but enough. Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by things, but by our judgments about them. The man who fears disapproval is not reacting to the disapproval itself. He is reacting to the story he tells himself about what it means. That he's inadequate, that he's failing, that he needs to fix it. The feared leader has rewritten that story. He does not require the room to validate his position. He already knows what he thinks. He already knows what he's decided. The room is simply being informed. That quality, that settled, unshakable sense of internal authority, is the most disarming thing a man can possess. Because you cannot manipulate a man who doesn't need anything from you. If this is already changing how you see the men around you and how they see you, smash the like button and subscribe. It's the best way to help us reach more people who actually need to understand what's happening beneath the surface. Habit 4. They never chase. The feared man does not pursue, not people, not validation, not opportunities by showing desperation for them. This is counterintuitive. Everything you are told says, go after what you want, work for it, show people you want it. But here's the truth. Desperation has a smell. People sense it before you say a word. And the moment they sense it, the dynamic shifts. Now they have something you want. Now they have leverage. The feared man creates conditions. He positions himself. And then he waits. Not passively, actively patient. He is always building, always moving, but he never chases. And people notice. And what they notice makes them curious. And curiosity pulls them toward him without him having to push. Habit 5. They move slowly on purpose. Watch a genuinely powerful man move through a room. He is never rushing. His movements are deliberate. He doesn't look like he needs to be somewhere else. This is not performance. This is a trained signal. Urgency reads as anxiety. Anxiety reads as weakness. A man who moves slowly, who takes his time before he responds, who sits back before he speaks, signals to everyone around him that he is not threatened by this moment, that he has seen worse, that this does not unsettle him. Sun Tzu understood that the greatest victories are won without a single word. The man who moves slowly, speaks late, and responds last controls the pace of every interaction. And the person who controls the pace controls the room. Habit 6. They disappear strategically. Most men are always available, always reachable, always present. And because of that, they are taken for granted. Here's what most people don't realize. Presence has a value. And like any commodity, that value drops when there's too much of it. When you are always there, people stop noticing you. They stop wondering about you. You become furniture. The feared man understands the psychology of absence. He disappears strategically, not to play games, to restore his value in the room. When he returns, people feel it. The energy shifts. He is thought about in his absence. That means he is thought about. That is power. Habit 7. They never reveal their next move. This is what I mentioned earlier. And this is the one that most men skip past entirely. They won't admit it, but most men talk about what they're going to do before they do it. They announce plans, share goals, describe their strategy. It feels good. It feels like progress. It releases the same psychological satisfaction as actually doing the thing. But here's the real cost. When you tell people what you're planning, you invite resistance before you have traction. You invite doubt. You invite the quiet sabotage of people who don't want to see you succeed. Machiavelli observed that the man who shows his hand before the game is played has already lost something he cannot get back: the element of unpredictability. And unpredictability is the one quality that keeps people slightly off balance around you, slightly unsure of what comes next. Feared men let their results announce their plans, not their mouths. Have you ever noticed that some men never seem rattled? That you can bring them bad news, conflict, unexpected pressure, and their response is always the same? Measured, considered, never reactive. Think about that for a second. That is not natural. That is trained. It is the product of two habits that most men never build. Habit 8. They absorb pressure without transferring it. Every organization, every relationship, every team has pressure flowing through it constantly. Problems land, deadlines shift, people fail to deliver. Weak men transfer that pressure. They escalate it upward or downward. They let their anxiety become visible, and suddenly everyone around them is anxious too. Their instability becomes the room's instability. The feared leader absorbs it. He processes it internally and returns to the people around him with a direction, not a reaction. His ability to stay grounded when everything is shifting is what makes people look to him, not his title, not his authority, his steadiness. Researchers studying group behavior found that in high-stress situations, teams take their emotional cue from the most psychologically stable person in the room. Not necessarily the most senior, the most stable. Be the most stable person in the room. That is a habit. Build it. Habit 9. They are comfortable being misunderstood. This one is rare, and most men never get here. Most men spend enormous energy making sure people understand them, making sure their intentions are clear, making sure no one has the wrong impression. The feared man has no such need. He accepts that he will be misread. He accepts that people will draw wrong conclusions about his silence, his choices, his stillness, and he lets them. Because he knows something they don't. He knows that the version of him living in other people's heads, the one they fear, the one they can't quite figure out, is often more powerful than any explanation he could offer. Seneca once warned that the man who tries to be understood by everyone will be mastered by everyone. You cannot manage your image in every mind. The attempt itself is the weakness. Let people wonder. Let them talk. The man who needs no explanation cannot be unsettled by misinterpretation. This is what I mentioned at the start. The thing most men never see. All 9 habits before this one are internal. They are about who you are in the room. But the 10th habit is about something more dangerous. Habit 10. They make other people's weaknesses visible to themselves. The feared leader is a student of people, not in a manipulative way, in a diagnostic way. He watches. He listens more than he speaks. He notices when someone always needs to be right, when someone is threatened by silence, when someone performs confidence to hide panic, when someone talks too much because they're afraid of what the room will think if they go quiet. He never exploits these things, but he files them away. He understands what each person around him needs. And because he understands that, he is never surprised. He is never caught off guard by someone's behavior. He already mapped it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that to understand others, you must first master the discipline of watching without judgment, not observing to criticize, observing to understand. Here's the truth. The man who understands the psychology of the people around him is 3 moves ahead of everyone in the room. Not because he's manipulating them, because he is never surprised by them. And the man who is never surprised cannot be destabilized. This is the reversal. Weak men spend their lives reacting to people. Feared men spend their lives reading them. And that single shift from reactive to diagnostic is the actual transformation. 10 habits, not motivational phrases, not affirmations, psychology, strategy, and the slow, deliberate decision to stop performing strength and start operating from it. If you've made it here, you already know something most men never figure out. Not because you're smarter, because you're willing to look at things most men turn away from. Subscribe so you never miss what we uncover next. Share this with one person who needs to hear it. And drop a comment. Tell me which habit you're starting with. I read every single one. The game is already being played around you. The only question left is this. How long are you willing to watch it happen to you before you decide to become the one who runs it? Weakness was never accidental, and neither is the decision to leave it behind. Just stay dangerous.